Aaron, how important is that victory in the context of it being a series decider and the pressure of that and overseas, obviously?
Yeah, absolutely. It was really important to bounce back from last game when we probably had an opportunity to win. I think if you look 6 overs out, we're backing ourselves in from that position. So to bounce back really strongly tonight was important. And like you said, 1-1 going into a decider. I think that the more experience you can keep having as a team in games like that where there's a series on the line is going to be really important going forward. And something that we've really prided ourselves on over the last couple of years is making sure that when we're in situations to win series that we take them. And I felt as though we played a pretty clinical game today, bar maybe 2 or 3 overs with the bat. But all in all, it was a great effort.
You shifted the batting order around. Was that something that you sort of pre-planned a bit, like that if the runs were on the board in that first partnership?
Yeah, it's something that we've definitely discussed. It's our middle order's all really flexible and they've had a lot of time to get their head around being flexible as a group, and that was just purely based on left-right combination with the wind being really strong going one side to make sure that we always had access to a boundary leg side. So, I thought the way that Wadey come out and played, I know he didn't get as many runs as he would have liked, but that happens when you're asked to go in and play a certain way, and Mitch the same. So it was still really positive signs the way that they come out with their intent. I think at times when you're in that situation, you can overthink it a little bit and either go right into your shell and sort of just try and eke out a score for yourself. But huge credit for the way that the guys went about it. Absolute team first batting, and it would have been nice for one of them to keep going a little bit deeper and make us get over that 200 mark. But South Africa bowled beautifully through that period from probably 7 overs onwards through to the 18th over. They bowled exceptional and squeezed us really well. So, I'm really proud of the way that the boys played.
Just on those two guys in particular, you've obviously got a series in New Zealand soon, sort of trying to nail down those middle order spots. Would you like to see those guys have another go in that series to nail that spot leading into a World Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're always really reluctant to change a winning formula, and obviously with Maxi being recovering from injury at the moment, that's probably one of those spots there. So regardless of who's available, who's not, the guys that continually do the job for the side will keep getting opportunities, and we've made no secret about that the winning formula is generally a pretty good one. You don't want to mess with that too much. So like I said before, it's just really proud of the way that the guys have stuck at it, bounced back after the second game, and it would have been easy for us to sort of take that to heart and go into our shell a little bit, but we didn't. So really proud. The more games that middle order in particular can play together, because they haven't played a huge amount of T20 cricket together. I know that they've played, Wadey and Smithy have played a fair bit of Test cricket together now and one-day cricket over the years, but T20, the game's changing all the time. So the more that they can get with Alex as well and Ashton Agar at 7, the more that they can keep playing together is really important, because you just start to understand each other's game a little bit more, and you start to recognise patterns with people's play and the way that they're thinking, and that's a really important part of going forward, winning a tournament, I think.
Sorry, is that a concern for you that, like, obviously the top order seems to be flying, the bowlers are going really well, but for a number of years or a number of games you haven't quite nailed it in the order? Is it getting to a point where you're a bit concerned you haven't nailed it leading into a World Cup?
No, I think that South Africa bowled excellent at the back end of the last game, also through their middle overs of today. So the wickets have been pretty tough to come in and just score heavily straight away, and I think both sides have seen that. As soon as you lose wickets and you expose a new batter to some quality spin in Shamsi, Agar, Zampa, I think that it makes it really difficult to just stand there and hit through the line and be really explosive like you can in Australia or in India, where the ball might skid on a little bit more, and India, the boundaries, and England, the boundaries are a bit smaller, so you feel as though you can catch up with hitting a few sixes. In Australia, the wickets are true, but the grounds are bigger. So it was a really good challenge, and with the wind as well, I think our guys would have learned a huge amount from the last couple of games.
Your spinners took a lot of wickets against South Africa. What do you think South Africa got wrong against them?
I think run rate pressure contributes to that quite a bit as well. I think just over 200, if I'm mistaken, in the first game, and then 190 in this game. I think when our quicks have bowled really well up front, it makes a huge difference to teams having to attack spinners on a wicket that's just turning or just holding enough. So, but they were outstanding. Their accuracy was really important in these 3 games, because you know that when you've got guys like Miller, Faf, Quinton through them middle overs, that they can be brutal on spin. So they were exceptional, and yeah, unbelievably happy with how they're going, and always improving, which is a great sign.
You've obviously had a lot to do with Dave and Steve through your whole career.
Yep.
Has anything changed from your point of view in them as players from those former years to, since they've come back from their ban?
Well, it's a hard one. I think in this format of the game, and probably one day cricket as well, Davey's been so consistent for such a long time. I think if you look at his IPL record, where he's played majority of his T20 cricket, it's been super consistent, and he's someone that once he gets in and once he's in good form, is so hard to bowl to, because he accesses both sides of the ground. He's got touch, he's got power. So as soon as you've got guys like that they can be so hard to stop. And probably from his younger days playing T20, where it was all just brute force, I think the way that he goes about thinking through his innings, planning his innings pre-game, but then also adapting, it's extraordinary. And to sit down and chat with him about plans and how we're going to go about it at the top of the order, which, as you know, very rarely works the way that you want it to work. But it's his attention to detail and his planning is unbelievable, and as good as anyone I've played with. Steve, very, very similar. A little bit different in regards to being a middle order player, number 3, 4, 5 throughout his career. You're always faced with different challenges. So to have that ability to come in and try and strike at 200 when the game requires it, or come in and at 2 for 10 and navigate through like a tricky 6 or 7 overs but still score, the ability to do that has been extraordinary in him. And I think what's changed slightly in his game is he's probably got a little bit more power, or maybe he's always had the power, but a little bit more freedom to play his shots. And I think that's been a huge difference to his game, because teams used to think that they could just squeeze him. He wouldn't hurt you too much at the back end, but to develop all the shots that he's got now around the ground is a super important player to us, and it's bloody impressive to watch.
This might be a bit of a dumb question, but the team song that we hear so much about when the team plays Test cricket, do you sing it after? Yes, after a series win. Yep. Who leads it in the T20?
It's a good question. There's been a couple of names thrown up at the moment. I'm not exactly sure who they've landed on. I don't take any ownership of that. That's the vice captain's role to look after that.
So it's to be determined.
To BD at the moment. Yep.
Aaron, considering the way South Africa fought back in Port Elizabeth, were you at all surprised at how easily they folded tonight, or was it all about the brilliant cricket Australia played?
Oh, I think the way that having 190 on the board helped on a wicket that started to slow up quite a bit, and we knew that the power play was going to be really important. So anytime you're chasing tens from the start, that's so hard. And when it's going to get slower and slower, and our spinners have been super accurate, I think that whether you lose by 1 run or 100, it doesn't make much difference at the end of the day. I think that it's all about risk reward, and when that run rate goes up, it's so hard. I know, being on the other side of it, when you know that you've got to try and preserve a couple of wickets, but the rate, if you have 2 bad overs, the rate goes to 15. So it can happen. It can happen easily, and yeah, we were on the right side of it this first 3 games.
Just on Stark removed to comp pretty much identically first game and the third game. Was it pre-planned? We're taking stumps like that. Was that a coincidence the way it came off?
No, well, I think there's been a lot of bowling plans going to all their players, not just Quinton, but he's obviously someone who's so dynamic at the top, and you know when he gets away that he can be so dangerous. It's about trying to just make him hit good balls. I mean, if someone comes out and scores it, what did he get? He was 50 in the power play, I think, the other day, or 45 in the power play. If you do that off good balls, you wear that in T20, because good players are allowed to play bloody well at times too. So it's about just making sure that we're executing our skills and under pressure, continue to execute. Don't panic. Just hang in there for a bit longer and a bit longer all the time. So yeah, it's Starkey. He bowls pretty similar to most guys up the top.